Hi everybody, Sin here from CreativeSynchronicity.com, and I'm here taking part in another round of Crafty Hangouts. This time we are going to be focusing on products from OnlineLabels.com. And the great thing about OnlineLabels.com is they've got a huge variety of shapes and colors and different types of paper, you know, from like the typical white labels to like the brown craft looking ones, all that kind of stuff for you there. And so there's lots of things to choose from, so many that quite frankly the first time I went there I got a bit overwhelmed with tons and tons of ideas. So what we're doing for this round, and we've got 2 weeks worth of Hangout videos for you to watch. Fantastic stuff. When you're finished watching here, you need to go to craftyhangouts.com and check them out. We're all focusing on party ideas. So my daughter and her new husband, they just got married about 6 weeks ago, and in about a month they're going to be leaving here to move to the UK for 2 years. And so of course we want to have a really fun send-off for them. So I'm going to focus on going away party, but a lot of the ideas for every one of these parties are things that you can just adapt to different occasions and use them in different ways. So, you know, don't think that you're just limited to these. I'm going to have a blog post going up with this video, and also in that blog post I will share the links for exactly which labels from OnlineLabels.com I used, and I will also share with you, because I've got some printable templates for you. No sense you reinventing it. If you like my idea and you want to use it, you can just print them off from the ones that I've already done. So without any further ado, let me move my camera down and I'll start showing you my ideas. I'm only going to show you 3 ideas today, because believe me, I could have kept you here for hours showing you so many fantastic party ideas with these labels. Okay, give me a second. Alrighty. Sorry, just trying to adjust that for you. Let me see. Okay, let me just make a little adjustment on my camera as well and move that a bit. There we go. Should be able to see a little bit better. Okay, so like I said, I'm doing party ideas, and mine are for a going away party, a goodbye party, but again, you can adapt them to lots of different things. And one of the things about a goodbye party is that, of course, it can be kind of bittersweet, right? I mean, we're really excited for them for this opportunity, and I'm kind of excited about the fact that this means I have an excuse to go to Europe finally. But it also means, you know, that we're saying goodbye and we're going to miss them and all of that. So I just want to make sure that there's a lot of fun happening at this party. We're going to have people of all ages, from like 4 years old right up to seniors. So I want to make sure that everybody's having a good time and that things are, you know, there's lots of lighthearted, fun things to do. So, of course, one of the things I thought of were bubbles, and I found a bunch of bottles of bubbles at my local dollar store. What I was really excited about was, A, because they're moving to the UK from Canada, basically the colors that I thought of focusing on for the party are red, white, and blue, the colors of the flags. And so this package had red in it, which is perfect from that standpoint, but also their wedding colors were purple and yellow, and I'm not sure if this really shows up as purple right now, but these were their wedding colors, so that's kind of a fun way of doing it too. And what I've done is, and here's one of the things I love about these different label ideas for a party, is that sure, some of them can go on and be rather elaborate and detailed, and you know, you can put as much into them as you want to, but you can also just do quick and easy things like this one. So what I've got here is I have got these bubbles, and I'm not sure how well, I'm going to try and get that to focus, but I'm not sure how well you can read what it says on there. These are really fun labels. They've got this kind of part in the middle that's kind of cool. And so they work great on different types of bottles and things like that. And I've just done a bubble, mind, where did you go? There we go, clip art, a bubble clip art, sorry about that. And then I've typed on there, we're bubbled over with excitement for you. Again, focusing on the lighthearted, hey, we're really happy for you thing. And so there's 8 labels on a sheet. And it's just a simple matter of, you know, loading these sheets into your printer and using my template, printing them off, and then it's just as simple as take a label off, grab one of the bottles, and there's actually on the bottle, there's actually kind of a little part here. It almost looks like it's made for a label right there, which is a little bit flatter, and so it makes a good place to kind of start the label on. And then it's just a matter of putting the labels on. So, you know, you could also add a little touch of ribbon on here around the lid or something like that, or you could just leave it as is. I mean, that's all you really need, right? Is just to have a cute little bottle of labels, of bubbles that you've labeled so that it kind of ties into the particular occasion that you're doing and the people that you're having the party for. And, you know, quick and easy way to jazz things up. So there's one of my quick ideas. Here's another one. And yes, it is a mason jar. And there is a fork attached to it. Now, I only attached it right now very quickly with just a chenille stem here. I've got some twine that I'm going to tie the forks to the jars with. And I actually want to try and get more salad sized forks instead of this dinner fork, simply because it'll fit better with the jars that I'm doing. Either that or I need to do bigger jars, but I kind of like this size jar. So you're probably wondering now, why does she have a mason jar with a fork attached to it? Well, to be able to take home and remember the party and remember who it was for. And that's exactly what this is going to be. So inside the jar, there's a package of seeds. You might be able to see there through the jar. There's a package of seeds, and then there's one of these, you know, little peat pots in there. And I might even put a little bit of soil down into the peat pot so that basically when they get home, they can plant this, and they can use the jar with the little peat pot in it as a little starter for it. But then they can also later on plant it in their garden, and that's where the labels come in, and the fork. So you have to use a mason jar because you want the ones that have the separate ring and the separate little lid here. And what I thought of was, of course, for a goodbye party, what's more perfect than forget-me-nots? So there'll be forget-me-not seeds down in these jars. And then I've got these really cute labels. So these were some of the round labels that I used from onlinelabels.com. And I printed up, again, a little bit of clip art with a forget-me-not on it, and then I put the word forget-me-not underneath. And this will fit really nicely into that center section of the lid. Now, hopefully you can kind of make that out. Of course, the moment I decide to start filming, it is the skies are darkening again. We've had storms off and on all weekend, so I've been trying really hard to get in between the storms to be able to film for you. Now, my idea is that once you put the label on, you're going to want to coat it with some kind of like a shellac or something like that that's kind of going to protect it from the elements, because this is, again, where the fork comes in. And you could go to like a flea market and get really pretty antique forks. You could even use some really high quality plastic forks, but they're going to have to be really good and sturdy, or, you know, whatever you've got spare around the house. Maybe head to a dollar store or something like that. And when you put the jar lid with the label on it into the fork. Now they can stick this in the ground, and this is going to be the perfect plant marker for out in the garden. So there's another little idea. You know, it goes together kind of as a little kit for them. Just attach that fork on there and you're all set to go, and you give one of these out to each family to take home with them. But then, you know, it comes apart and forms the little jar to be able to start the seeds in, and then the little plant marker for putting it out in the garden. Okay, so that's idea number 2. For idea number 3, now I thought, you know, that a really great thing, obviously, for a party for people who are leaving Canada and going to the UK would be to focus on the different flags from them. And I just found, you know, some clip art online of a Canadian flag, easy enough to do. This one, it's kind of an old-fashioned looking one. Like, it looks very vintage for the British flag, and I got that from Graphics Fairy. If you don't know Graphics Fairy, you need to Google Graphics Fairy. I'll include the link as well in my blog post, but you need to find her. All kinds of free printables. So much fun for all different occasions. So I'm going to use these, and you know, we were all kind of talking about how at their wedding, because of where it was, we weren't able to use any kind of confetti or anything like that. So since this is going to be an outdoor party, I thought it would be really fun to do those kind of messy things that you may not want in your house. And we're going to make a confetti launcher. So for the confetti launcher, you need a cardboard tube. You can also use just a plain old plastic cup. I found that this cup was, you know, it was too flimsy for what I wanted to use it for. And so what I did was I've actually got 2 cups here, and I glued one inside of the other just to make it a little bit sturdier. But for these, I think we're just going to stick with the cardboard tubes. So cardboard tube, you need a balloon. And what I did was, at first I bought a pack of assorted balloons, assorted sizes and shapes. And part of the reason why I did that was because I wanted to experiment around and see what sizes would fit the best, and plus any leftovers I could certainly use for party decorations. So you do need to play around a little bit at first sometimes to make sure that you've got the right size balloon to fit over the right size cup or tube or whatever it is you're going to be using. Then you're going to need some scissors, and you're going to need some duct tape. Okay? There's other ways you could be decorating this. You could certainly decorate this with paint, like get the kids involved, get out the bingo dabbers and the paints and crayons and markers and whatever, and let the kids decorate them to help you get ready for a party if you wanted to. But you are going to need some duct tape regardless, because you're going to need the duct tape to hold the balloon in place, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So you're just going to cut off just kind of this very end of the balloon so that the balloon is open at both ends. Now, what I do is I cut off the littlest part I can to start with, and then I try it on whatever I'm attaching it to, and then cut off a little bit more if I need to, and a little bit more if I need to, until I get it exactly right. And this is what it looks like when it's been cut. So you can see it's now open here. Okay? So next thing you need to do is you need to tie a knot in the opening of the balloon, the spot where you would normally be blowing air in. You need to knot that, and that's because we're going to be using this as a confetti launcher, and you don't want the confetti dropping out through that hole at the bottom. So just a simple little knot. Then this bigger end, this bigger opening, the one that you cut in there, you are going to stretch that over onto the tube. Okay? So I'm just trying to even it out a little bit and flatten it down so that it's going to be somewhat flat underneath the tape. Now, the nice thing about it is with using red balloons, because my, my color scheme is red, white, and blue, and I'm using the white tape, I can leave some of this showing, and the red will add a little detail to it. Okay, so I'm going to get some of the tape. I just want to get a piece off for now to hold the balloon in place, because I mean, it seems nice and snug and secure on there. Believe me, it feels really, sometimes to get them on different sized, like tubes that you might use. I mean, if you wanted to do a big launcher, you could certainly use like a Pringles can or something like that. So it feels really secure, but the moment you give a good tug on it, that balloon just comes right back off again, no matter how tight it feels. Now, here's a really cute idea. I could also use this, basically, I mean, it almost looks like I'm forming a Canadian flag. So I could, instead of putting more white tape here, I could easily put some red duct tape here, and that's forming the stripes in the center section. And then I could just use my labels and simply make just the maple leaf section and stick that on to form an actual whole Canadian flag out of the whole tube. But for this one, I want to use those stickers that I showed you a minute ago. And so I'm going to continue covering it with the white. But that'd be really cute, I mean, for a Canada Day party, right? So I'm just going to put this duct tape around. Okay, so now it's covered. My balloon is secure with the tape, and now I can stick labels on. And I can put, on each one I can even put more than one label. So I'm going to stick a Canada flag one on there, and then I'm going to grab one of my British flag ones and put it right over here. Really cute, right? And then you just fill this up with some confetti. You can include glitter if you want, especially if you're going to be outside and don't care about the big old mess. Anything along those lines. Now, I am not crazy enough to show you this with glitter or confetti in it because I don't feel like cleaning all that up. But I will show this to you with some pom-poms. So I'm going to toss some pom-poms down in here. There we go. Okay, and then all you're going to do is you're going to pull down on this and you're going to release. Okay, and once you do that, all the stuff that's down in here is going to go flying up. So, did you see? I'm trying to do it gently so it doesn't like go crazy, but here, let me try. There we go. Look at that. How much fun would that be, right? They could, I mean, the kids, even the adults would have a really fun time shooting that. So that's it. That's my ideas for this time. Please make sure to check out the blog post. Like I said, I'll be sharing all the details with you about my printables that you can use for printing off these labels yourself, and as well for the link to Graphics Fairy in case you want to check that out and use any of her printables on your labels for your party. And I will also give you all the details on exactly the product number for each of the label sheets that I use so you know the exact size to go with them. Thanks very much for joining me. Please check my blog out on creativesynchronicity.com, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.